We are live on Facebook,
Facebook,
YouTube,
YouTube,
and Periscope.
Periscope.
Talking about sex. Let's talk about
Yeah.
sex.
What's
So,
up?
Steve, we're at the Under 21 convention,
Oh,
Orlando, Florida,
I'm
2016. You just came off stage.
Yeah.
You gave an awesome talk. Your talk was titled, What Every Young Man Needs to Know
Yep.
About Sex.
Yep. Yeah. So, look, the convention's been pretty crazy, but basically, the speech was the main reason why I came. Also hosting and doing a lot of other responsibilities here. So it's kind of crazy. So it was like, man, finally I get to talk and focus on this one thing where I can really express. And so this is important just because, we get sex wrong a lot, and then there's all these industries based around it, and they get it wrong a lot, including, I think, a lot of the pickup industry, including a lot of, even people who've spoken at the 21 convention.
Mm-hmm.
It hasn't really been the story of sex and sexual health that I've seen. It's been something that is like, man, I don't know, this thing that you're supposed to chase or do, or how to become a man through it. Whereas my story and the story of like the communities that we've had have been like, sex has really changed me for the better in a good way, independent of behavior, independent of, like I could be doing crazy stuff, I could be doing normal stuff, but it made me know what a man was, more masculinity, connected me more with women, built relationships, and all those different things that are so important. Uh, yeah.
So, did you in your talk? I'm just looking at some notes
Yeah.
that Rob made.
Mm.
So Rob's doing the all the slideshows. He's also been
Yeah.
doing a bit of Periscope. One of the questions, obviously, I didn't get to see your
Uh-huh.
talk, unfortunately, but it looks like you talked about men's groups.
Yeah.
You know, implications. You talked about like STDs, children. So,
Keep going. Keep going.
The question is, how do you find these specific groups of men?
Yeah. Yeah. So I actually got into this in the speech. I mean, look, we have men's groups that are facilitated through my company, but you can find them in other places too. You should be able, within any moderately large city, be able to find support groups for men. And I don't mean that like, oh, we're men and it's tough, but where men meet up and talk about different things. You'll have to look, man. There'll be some ones that are bad, like layers for pickup are essentially usually men's groups, and oftentimes they're bad. Just because there's so much chasing pickup shit in there, but they could be good. I mean, the 21 convention came from a layer, a men's group, the Tampa Orlando layer, and like that's how Sock met Anthony. That's how all of them got combined. Yeah, and yeah. So to find a men's group, they're available. One thing that I brought up in my speech is I think community is essential, and there's only 4 companies that I know that have communities, which I brought up on the in the talk, and it hit me because, well, David Tien has a community, and they produce good men. I've met them. We have a lot of cross clients, good stuff. Arzon Murata, so Zan Perion's company, we have a ton of cross clients. They helped out in the structure of my speech. Community, a lot of good dudes. Very different than David's group, but great dudes. Uh, Bravo, Stephen Grush, who uh, spoke here too, 21 Convention alumni, and spoke at this event. He has a community too. Good men come from it. And there's other people who have like forums or shit like that. But at my company, we have that. There's a call right now. It's 2:19 Eastern time on Sunday. There's a call that goes 16 hours sometimes in my group that's happening right now, where guys from all over the world talk. Almost every day of the week, we have a group that talks, and it's been one of the most useful things because community just changes so much. So men's groups are important. They're there. I think it's great to meet face to face, but obviously we do it online.
And speaking of men's groups,
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of the Mankind Project?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I recently, I did a little bit of research on it, and some of the things I encountered was things like, that the Mankind group is for it's kind of like one of those groups that talk shit about men more than anything else. Like there's
So-
a few groups like that.
I've never been on the Mankind group, but there's guys who came from there on our program. So I can just say hearsay. But what seems, I mean, dude, I don't know. It could be great, but what they seem to say is like, There's not like good leadership there, or the leadership is you're like, I don't know, like not a strong man or something. It's like too many weak men, and
Yeah.
it's too easy to like be seen as the best there. So I don't know.
Yeah, there's like a lot of groups, and like, what are some, I guess, groups or just content to avoid that is supposedly, for masculinity, but in reality, it kind of goes against masculinity. Like, I know there's a lot of stuff out there. Like,
I mean, so I have opinions on it, but for me, if there's too much ideology, so too much structure of what you have to believe,
Mhm.
that's kind of crazy. And you look at this, like, so with Zan, oh, you can go. It's just like travel, see beauty, you know, ease and delight. You know, that's what life is about. And there's all these like loose principles that, and anybody can do it. You don't have to be a traveler. You don't have to be a vagabond. But it's like, we believe in beauty. That's like the Zan thing, right? And then if you look at David Tien's, it's like success and be a man that can build up his life to have, you know, kind of this voicing of success and social elite type thing that's going on. And basically, like, you get that voicing from it. Bravo, a lot of military and fighting shit. Mine, it's all like, how can we be healthy? Like, I would say that, I was talking with David about this, but with me, like, if you want emotional sanity to work through like really crazy problems in your life, my groups where it's like, if you've experienced trauma, come to us. But again, in that one too, it's like no ideology. I think with Steve's, there might be a little bit more than that, but they're a good community. I mean, like, I know a lot of guys who belong to it, and it's done really well. But in all those other ones, man, there's a real loose principle based thing, which I know is a hot topic, like principles, but they really live it. If you talk to any Ars Amorati guy, they'll talk to you about ease and delight. It's not just some words. How did they live it? If you talk to a TSL, it's like all life expresses itself, or nature doesn't need science, but man needs science to understand nature, stuff like that. We'll talk about like how that works in every aspect of our life, and it's kind of cool. So
Awesome stuff. All right. Got another question here. This is a real specific question.
Mhm.
So this guy asks, how should I react when I find out that I have an STD? Media, he goes on to say, media culture demonizes it as if your life is over. And he wants to know, what is a strong or resourceful way to deal/cope with the initial shock?
Well, learn about them. I mean, like, herpes is the most common one that I hear people talk about and get all upset about. But a lot of people have it. You never get rid of it, but it can like go or be less. You get less outbreaks over time and shit like that. Dude, I know people with HIV. I know people with Hep C that have sex lives, and like, you need to learn about it. And in learning about it, you need to learn what you need to do. Like, dude, Hep C is a brutal thing. I know a lot of people who have it, and they can function with it. I know people who've actually done the treatment to cure themselves of it, which is kind of new. And you need to find out like the reality of it. Don't run from it. It's so easy to like not look up the different specifics about it. You need to learn how you transmit it. Obviously, you need to learn like how you stay healthy, especially if it really taxes your body, like Hep C or any of the hepatitises or HIV or something like that. And man, they're coming up with so much stuff for HIV. There's like, it's amazing. Like, I really think that there will be some sort of cure. I mean, they have preventative things that they can do now, and then people who get it, depends on the strain, they can manage it. But that can be brutal when it really takes hold. But those two are like, can be intense. And I know people that live great, with them, and that they take their meds and do all that sort of stuff. They have sex lives. So just know that there's a whole lot of people who have STDs that feel bad about it, and that's the majority. And that's sad, because there's a ton of people who have learned, not the majority, just a ton with just like, whatever thousands, but not the majority of people who have STDs. But these people have learned to function with them, and you can. And especially stuff like, you know, you always feel bad if you get like gonorrhea or, you know, chlamydia or something. Chlamydia is like super common. HPV, well, chlamydia, gonorrhea, stuff like that, you can treat those very easily. Like, man, cut the shame, learn your lesson, right? And if you have something like HPV, you know, maybe like a lot of women have it. A lot of people are carriers of it, but they don't outbreak with it. You know, there's things you can do sometimes to get rid of it, but you got to learn about it, how you can transmit it, how you communicate to somebody about it that you have it. It's not a big deal. People will still, you know, hook up with you. There might be some people that react to it, but that's not, it's more common for them if you know how to communicate it to still have sex with you and stuff like that. And it's good stuff.
There's another question in here about this is a question probably a lot of guys want to ask,
Mm-hmm.
but don't know how to ask it maybe in the right way. So the question is, the guy saying, "I've had a one night stand.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he's looking for just a casual relationship. He's
Mhm.
not looking for anything serious. He just wants to explore his sexuality." And the specific question is, when he underperforms on
Mhm.
that one night stand, what? How should he react to that? And can you give an example of that?
Yeah, there's like a lot to it. So first off, does he get one night stands? If you get one night stands, you'll have more experience with it. But so underperforms. Look, is this an actual performance problem, or is it only when you have one night stands? So that's another thing. Because if it's one night stands, there's probably an anxiety thing to it. But if you don't get that with uh, a girl that you date, or especially a girl that you're in a relationship with, then it's totally an anxiety thing. And what cures anxiety is normalizing something. Okay, so in pickup, we see socializing as abnormal. And so because we see it as abnormal, we exaggerate things. And then those things kind of fuck us up. But socializing is normal. It's what human beings do. So we got to learn a normal way where we can then, what I feel, apply social dynamics to and learn it. With sex, it's the same thing. It's like the most normal. It's like more normal in some ways than being social. Or our bodies, you can't just have sex with somebody on the street. Maybe you can, but uh, the function of sex is totally normal for your body to have, and especially like even a one night stand, which is fast sex. Like the human body escalates very quick. The human brain will escalate sexually very quick if you have the right situations and so on. So if you make that happen, you have a skill to do that. Like your body's made to perform well. And when bodies don't perform well, it's usually because there's anxiety wrapped around it. And that anxiety is fear. It could be so many things, but fear of performance, looking bad. You feel bad about yourself. You're mad about women or something like that. And so that'll keep you from like being able to have good sex and express yourself. For me, I started out in pickup having one night stands, and that's all we did. So like my first whatever 40 lays or something, probably 30 of them were same night lays as they called them. And yeah, man, they were there was a lot of good stuff. I'd say the second time we had sex, third time we had sex was always better, but uh, she's thinking the same thing too. There's another thing in the speech, like she don't worry, you're probably not good at it. She's not good at it either, especially if you're young, you know. So those are important.
Can you give a specific example of like,
Mm.
obviously you're married now,
Mm.
you're in a relationship. Could you tell maybe a specific story about back in the day when you were struggling with this stuff and you suffered with this like performance kind of anxiety?
So there's only
Could you? Yeah.
two times where I didn't get hard. So now that I'm in a longer relationship, that'll happen just because like sex isn't so like. I mean, we've had sex
This is
so
so
many
novel.
times. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Mm.
like, and you get older too. But when I was 30, when I was 35, like I was like fucking easy for me to get hard all the time. But there were two times it didn't happen, both in Vegas. So one, I was with this PUA dude, and we picked up these
Scary.
chicks, and they were 18. So we're like, fuck, man, we're like older, and there's like these hot 18-year-olds. But I don't know why it was. I can't explain it, right? And it was total one night, like it's very quick, right? So he actually takes his chick in the bathroom, I take the chick on the bed. There was a situation in the hotel here the other night when some guy was getting laid and everybody had to wait outside of the room. And so me and my buddy, this pickup guy, were so used to this that he just took the bathroom. I got the bed, which was kind of cool, right? So he goes in the bathroom, he fucks his chick, he like fucks her for like 10 minutes, and then they go. And I was like going crazy. Like I was always a guy that liked sex more, so I was like, I want to fucking see what's up with this chick. But she was like faking. I don't know why, but I could not get hard to save my life. This girl was like inexperienced but way too into it and acting all like it just seemed kind of fake. But I've been with people like that before and totally been able to fuck them. And it was weird too because she squirted, but like usually you have to stimulate internally to squirt. Like almost always, this girl you like touched her pussy and she was like, dude, I tried so hard, man, for like an hour trying to fuck this. I could not get hard. I was like, fuck. And you feel bad whenever that happens, right?
Yeah.
So instantly, you're the human body and mind of a man. You feel bad. You just feel like such a turd, and this had never happened to me before, but it's quite common. And basically, what happened was is the next day. So I was lucky, okay, because the second time this didn't happen, okay. So the next day, my girlfriend from California came to Vegas, and I fucked the shit out of her. I was like, it works, it's amazing, because that was the biggest fear. It's like this doesn't work. What's going on with me? Mad anxiety. You can't avoid the anxiety, but you can ease it. Anxiety is going to happen, but hour, 2 day, day and a half, start to phase out of it, and I was able to have sex with my girlfriend, and I felt better. Here's the other thing: is the next time it happened, I was in Vegas. I fucked this chick. Again, happened really almost too fast, like 10 minutes, and I started fucking her, and I could stay, or I got hard, started having sex with her, and I just couldn't. I don't know why. I was into her. I don't know. Something was off. Couldn't put my finger on because there's been times where I've been totally not into chicks, and I'll be hard. I used to talk about this all the time. Like having a hard dick fucks with you. Like it sucks because like if you don't have a hard dick and you're about to fuck some girl that you don't really want to fuck, you'd be like, oh, sorry, but it would be like, okay, it's here, and she'd be like, give me that dick, and then she just anyway. So basically, yeah, I couldn't believe it, and then 2 weeks went by before I got laid again. 2 weeks. So the whole time I was like, oh man, what's going on? Jesus Christ, fuck, oh my god. But after 3 or 4 days, it just stayed in the back of my head, but it wasn't such a big deal. And I don't know. That's how it goes.